unfortunately a bit of a chaotic sort of match here from an injury front. Do you have a bit of an update at all on James and CJ?
Not at this stage. They'll both go to get a scan, hopefully on the minor end of the scale, but fingers crossed for both of them. They've had big summers and hopefully there's nothing too serious.
Just on CJ, obviously had the trip over to Qatar to try to address some of his soft tissue stuff. Sounds like a hamstring. I mean, I've done the lower end, but when you go for now and you put so much work into try to help a young guy with these issues?
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating for CJ. He's done plenty right to get himself to the position he's in today. He's had a great pre-season, and like I said, yeah, hopefully it's on the minor end of the scale for Siege. Scans would give us a bit more information, but fingers crossed. Like I said, he's a great kid and he's coming back in good nick, and hopefully it's not too long for him.
How tough is it to get a group in the right mindset to finish out the game when they see something like the James Blank incident occur?
It was a bit flattening. I think the third period when we changed teams, and that period of time, I think everyone was a little bit thinking in the back of their mind about those two, which is always hard in a footy sense. They train and they're brothers really in the sense that they spend so much time together. So it took a little bit of time to get them going again, and in the last quarter we saw a little bit more of the footy we were after, but it's always hard when someone you know and pretty close to gets injured in that situation.
Some of the positives, Mabior Chol, I think 5 goals, I think it might have been in the end. Just talk us through how you've seen his development since he's arrived at the club and what's your name?
Yeah, Marv's has been great. That tall target we've probably been lacking the last couple of years, who can take a big mark up forward and provide a presence for the smalls that we've brought into the club has been really important. He's a really laid-back character. I think anyone that knows him and works with him, he's very relaxed, but I think the intensity and competitive desire that he brings to our team has been really important. And he's going to be really part of that forward line going forward between him and Lewis and Gunston going down there. Even Ramsden today had a really good influence in that third quarter, and he's probably still a first year tall in the sense he's a mid-season pick. He can run, he can cover the ground, he's a good overhead, so he's got a bright future as well. Well, that's the good thing about a good team. So they've got lots of depth through our midfield, through our forward line. It's going to be really hard to pick spots in that round one team. So the pressure from beneath is really important to make sure the standard of play that we want to get to is high. So the more guys we get putting their hand up and pushing for that spot is something they're really excited about, and really exciting for those guys involved. Yeah, Huss he's someone we watched through the draft period. He came through, really excited with his development. He played a couple of games at the back end of last year. Really clean with ball in hand, makes good decisions, always seems to have time in congestion. And like I said, that midfield depth's going to be a bit deeper than we've probably had in the past. So you've got your guys that have played last year in Warple, Newcombe and Nash. Ward, McKenzie, Huswaite, there's a lot of guys that can go through there. Connor McDonald wants to go through there as well. So again, similar like I said with the forward line, the more depth we can get through there, the more guys pushing and putting pressure on guys in the one team is only going to be better for us.
How do you manage that? It's an interesting way to manage it all, really, isn't it? Both forwards and mids.
Yeah, definitely. It's a hard position for the coaches to be in, but like I said, yeah, the good teams have lots of guys that go through that spot. So we've had probably the last couple of years that I've been involved here, we haven't probably had that depth of talent on the list. So the last 2 drafts, we've got some really high quality blokes through, and they're starting to show their talent, which is what we want them to do. So yeah, it's going to be tight for selection round 1, and it's going to be exciting for us going forward.
Just on the depth, would you say defensively at the moment that's where you're?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Since I got here, everyone spoke about the number of halfbacks we had on our list. Some of those guys have been moved to different spots. The key position one, obviously with Blank, depending on his injury today, will be one. We've still got Frosty there. Scrimshaw can play as a tall. The young developing talls is probably one area we might be a bit lean on now. So that's something we'd have to look at going forward. But of every other ground at the moment, that would probably be the one area.
You spoke about the halfbacks. Obviously, Carl Lehman's moved from the wing down halfback. How nice is it having Carl and Massimo being able to use that ball coming out of the back up?
I think everyone that's seen pre-season training with Mass has been really impressed with the way he can kick the ball. And Carl, I would say, is nearly top 5 kick in the comp. So getting good distribution off halfback is important for every team with run and gun these days. Sicily's another beautiful kick in the back half. So the more guys we can get bringing the ball out cleanly out of there is a positive, and the way we can transition the ball off that with the style of play we want to do is really important.
With CJ now possibly being out for round 1, is there a chance we might see Josh Weddle pushing from that back line into that midfield and maybe onto a wing?
Maybe. He's very versatile. His size, he's a big, he can run and jump, he's really good aerobically. So if we have to reshuffle in that back half, that's something we'd definitely consider. Well, hopefully he can still get up for round 1, obviously, but those things are hard to put a time frame on. So fingers crossed with him as well that we can get him going. He's a really important player to our structure, and yeah, he'd be great to get out there on the G round one.
Just on Hale, do you expect to see him in the first month of the season?
Again, fingers crossed. I think he's got another scan this week to track his progression. We're hoping, like as much as we can, with the best and fairest, we can get him back as soon as possible. But that gives good exposure to the other mids. We know for the first 2 or 3 weeks, if he's out for that long, that one of those guys will get a look. So whenever there's a down point, there's also a bright spot. So hopefully that gives us a look at those guys as well.
Just on Connor McDonald, a bit everywhere today. You mentioned he wants to go into the midfield. Is there an element to sort of just keep him on the half or Blank and pushing up, or is it more his desire to crack in?
A bit of both. The midfield depth we've got now means we can probably play him a little bit more forward. But his running capacity, his footy smarts, those sort of guys around the midfield are hard to find as well. So we'll bleed him in as well, so like we would with Dylan Moore. The more we can expose those guys in little patches, it gives us a break from the continuity of the mids as well. So he's one, during this season, he'll definitely play at midfield at times. Very exciting. I think anyone that comes to watch our training, he's a top draft pick for a reason. He's got plenty of skills, his forward pressure and his goal sense is, some of that stuff's hard to teach. So he's going to be a menace for a long time, hopefully, for this football club, and we're excited by what he's done so far.
I saw him and Jackie have been working in tandem forward half. Is it definitely a spot for both of them? Can you see that being a pretty dynamic duo and pretty hard to match up on for the small defenders?
Oh, definitely. I think the defenders that they'll come up against will find it hard. The footy craft, as a small forward, the footy nous and craft is something that's hard to coach at times, and both of those guys do that pretty naturally. So I'd imagine, manning up on those two. Then you bring Luke Bruce, who's kicked 500 goals. It becomes a different dynamic forward line than we've had in the last couple of years. So that's something we're really excited about. And like I said to you, the more those guys perform, the harder it is to leave them out. So Nick's done everything he can for this pre-season period to get a look going forward.
Blake Hardwick, I mean, we've been such an underrated defender for so long, but now to move forward, what sort of role do you think he can play in the forward?
Yeah, he's been good again. I think he kicked a couple today. His ability to provide a contest is really strong in that forward half, which we probably lacked a little bit with our tools last year. So similarly, he brings something different in a small forward role that the other guys do, which is something we like. Obviously, he's got the capacity to play back like he has in the past, and he's a really good small defender. So I think it just gives that versatility to the team we probably haven't had before, the forward and back role.
Last one, guys. No, in terms of our team, David, obviously we've got Mabior Chol and also we've got Mitch Lewis as tools. I know we've got Ned Reeves. Is there a world where we might see Ned Reeves with another ruckman playing, like a Max Ransom?
Yeah, I think today the main thing for us with that third tall is the impact they have as a forward. So across the league, hasn't been really that ruck forward role where the guys have been able to kick 20, 30 goals purely as in that role. So Rama today kicked 3. That was probably the downfall of Meekie and Reeves last year in terms of the impact up forward. We know they can do it as a ruckman. How much impact and how much that helps the synchronicity of the forward line is the other element. So would never say never to that. And if they can clunk the ball and kick goals, they're welcome to be in the forward line at any time.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.